Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Fallon, the marketing engineer. And the first thing I have to do is I need to ask a favor of you. If I speak fast, can you listen fast? Is that okay with everybody? I actually do that for two reasons. One, I have a lot to cover. Two, I'm always told in this type of environment to slow down and speak slowly. And I like breaking the rules, and I like rule breakers. And this is what this talk is about. This talk is about how do you break the rules? How do you go beyond your limits? How do you get out your box? Or breaking bad ethically? So by the end of this talk, I want you to kind of know three things that might be limiting your life, might be affecting you right now and how you can deal with them, and three things you can do to change your life. Is that okay? Good stuff. Okay, I have a bit of a confession to make. Some of you are going to leave this talk and say, he seemed like an all right guy. I quite enjoyed that. Others of you will leave this talk saying, I really didn't like that, and I really don't like that fellow at all. And when I say don't like, I mean you will see me walking down the street as you're coming up here, and you will choose to walk into oncoming traffic rather than risk a conversation with me. That's it. A lot of my friends call me the Marmite of marketing, and that's the way I am. So I'm going to start my story from the start, which was when I was born. When I was born, my mum was in labour with me for several hours, and I didn't have enough oxygen to my brain. And the doctors told my mum, Richard's going to have a coordination problem. So he's never going to be able to do things like ride a bike or play the piano. And here's a picture of me riding a bike and playing a piano. Because I had this thing is I thought, I'm interested in doing those things. I want to learn how to do these things. So it took me longer than other kids, but I got there. Another thing I had when I was younger was an interest in science. I'd like to find out about how things worked and how the world worked. And part of that was understanding maths. Maths is very important in science. And I did all right in maths at school, and I was lucky enough to get into the top set. And my maths teacher said to me, Richard, we're going to put you in for the exam a year early, your GCSE a year early, but we don't think you're going to do very well. So I thought, well, I can learn this. I'm going to do it anyway. And I got an A. I was really pleased with that. And my physics teacher said to me, Richard, you're all right at physics, you'll do okay at GCSE, you might be okay at A-level, but don't go any further than that. You're not good enough to do a degree. And here's me getting my physics degree from Durham University. Now you may think I've spent most of my life trying to prove other people wrong. This isn't the case. These were all things I was interested in, and I had a passion for, and I wanted to find out more about. And I thought, I can learn this stuff. I can learn new skills. And this was useful, because when I finished my degree in physics, every employer I spoke to said to me, Richard, we don't want physics. We don't want physics graduates. We want electronic engineers. That's what we want. I thought, great. It would have been useful if somebody said this earlier. But I thought, OK. I did a bit of electronic engineering at physics. I've got an interest in it. I can learn it. So I did a master's in it at Nottingham University. And I enjoyed that so much that I went on to do a PhD in laser physics at Aston University. And I was privileged enough to be able to work on a £20 million yacht. And I put an optical fibre sensor system into the mast of that yacht so that the yacht could detect the strain you put on it as you went out sailing. And my work appeared on Tomorrow's World. And that was a good 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. But it was 3 years working in an underground lab with no sunlight on my own. And I started to think socks and sandals sounded like a comfortable combination. I thought maybe I just need to get out just a little bit more. Maybe I need to get out a little bit more. And at the time, my housemate Andrew was applying for a job with British Airways. And I picked up the brochure and I thought, well, that looks like something I'd be interested in doing. So I applied for a job and I became a business analyst for British Airways. And a business analyst is somebody who does business process re-engineering. So I got to work with IT people and business people. And this really suited me because I got to use my analytical skills and my people skills. And I had a great time there. And one thing I really enjoyed was traveling. And it was on my travels with 3 of my friends that I got my first lesson in marketing from a South American prostitute. It's always amazing the way the interest levels come up at that point. What happened was, me, my friends Maxine, Chris and Sharon had gone to Buenos Aires for the weekend. It was Maxine's birthday. It was Sunday night. It was 2 a.m. The club we were in was shutting, and Chris and Sharon decided to go home. But my friend Maxine said to me, I don't want to go home yet. I want to stay out a bit. I want to stay out a little bit longer. So we had a look round, and we found the one single solitary bar that was still open. And it had that distinctly mafioso feel about it, if you know what I mean. And I said to Maxine, I said, look, you sit over there, I'll go to the bar, we'll be quiet, we'll have a nice time, a couple of drinks and go home. And I went up to the bar, got the drinks, and as I'm walking back, this very attractive young lady came up to me, and she looked me up and down like that. And she said to me, she said, I'm quite busy right now, but if you want some company later on, here's my business card. And she gave me a business card. And on her business card was a name, and her job title was public relation, which I thought was absolute genius part of marketing, absolute genius. And I said to her, I said, well, thank you very much. But I said, I'm not looking for any company. I'm fine, I'm with my friends, but thank you. And the marketing lesson I learned from that is, no matter how attractive your offering is, not everybody's in the market for buying it. Now, this was going to serve me in good stead, because a couple of years later, I decided to step out into the abyss and set up my own business. And I've always had a passion for helping people. And I found at BA, I was good at helping people and good at training people. So I set up a training company that was designed to help small businesses, students, and graduates. And I did business skills, and there was marketing skills in there, and there was management skills. And this went along very well. And in 2009, after the credit crunch, everybody said to me, Richard, we don't want management skills anymore. We just need more clients. We just need more customers. Can you just focus on marketing? So I pulled everything I knew about marketing together and did a one-day workshop that covered all the marketing basics. And I ran this and it went very well. And I did a course in July of that year, and I'm going around the people I have in the room that have gone. I had accountants and solicitors here. Over here, I had a lady who wanted to sell Jamaican soup to Tesco. I had a couple of bars and restaurants. I had a gentleman who had a yoga franchise for schools. I then had a cleaning company. And then finally, I had a manufacturing company that specialized in doing parts for yachts and nuclear submarines. This was a diverse group of people. And I thought, how am I going to deliver something that's good for everybody? Well, the course covered all the basics, and the basics apply to every business. No matter what you do, they apply to everybody. So I did that. People liked it and happy. But at the end of it, I thought, using my engineering head, there must be a process that I could go through and get the right answer for anybody. There has to be something. And I had a look around, but I couldn't find anything. And I kind of parked it around the back of my head to think, I'll think about that later. And everything was going fine until Wednesday, the 21st of October, 2009. I'm in Birmingham. I'm in St. Paul's Square. And I'm walking across the square. It's a cold, crisp day, and I can hear the leaves crunching beneath my feet and the church dinging 9 o'clock in the background. And I thought, this should be a great day. But my stomach said, something's going to go wrong. And I was right. We were due to have 15 people that day, and it was 9:30 registration for a 10 o'clock start. 9:45, nobody, 0, no one had arrived. So I started to get worried. 10 to 10, the first person arrived. 5 to 10, the second person arrived. 5 past 10, the third and final person arrived. And that was it. So I'd lost 80% of the attendees didn't show. So I thought, well, what can I do? So I went out, I did my marketing thing, and they liked it, because they turned up. So of course, I'm going to do my best. And people seemed to like it. But then we went back to the office, and I had to ring up people and say, well, what happened? Why didn't you come? And I found that people had changed what they needed and wanted. They didn't want marketing training anymore. They needed somebody to do the marketing for them. They wanted somebody who would do that and guarantee they'd have clients and customers next week. So I thought, okay, I can do that. I'm interested in marketing. I've moved on from what makes the world tick to what makes people tick. And I got really interested and I thought, this idea for the process, I'll dig that out. And I developed a 12-step process that I use to help small businesses attract in the clients they want. And that works pretty good. And oddly enough, I've gone back to helping my old PhD group who now also need to engage with small businesses to help them to help the business community as well. And that's my story. But what did I learn during my story? Well, there's a couple of things I learned. One thing is boxes can be useful. A good way to understand the world is through putting things into boxes. And boxes are very common in marketing because you need to know what people are going to like and dislike. These types of people like this, they dislike this. This helps you in marketing. I'll give you this marketing statistic here. Blue is the most popular colour. Have you noticed the way Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook, all the logos are blue? That's because most people like blue. Possibly why I'm wearing a blue shirt and blue tie today. But that's kind of useful information. That's lumping people into that blue box. But there are boxes that are very damaging. And sometimes other people force us into them, and sometimes we put ourselves into them. So this I found very disconcerting. It was a study done in 2017, and it was done with children. And it found that by age 6, girls were more likely to put boys into the really, really smart category than themselves. All the children were given various activities to do, and some of them were labelled for really, really smart children. And the girls tended to leave them alone and give them to the boys, because they thought intellectual brilliance was a male trait. Incredible. So this is one of those self-limiting beliefs, isn't it? They decided they can't do that, so I'm not going to do it, I'll leave it for somebody else. And this is what I've come across. First thing that kind of stops people, most people have some self-limiting beliefs. A self-limiting belief is a decision you've made about yourself that stops you doing something or getting good at something. So this could include, I'm too old to learn something new. I'm too young. I'm too lazy. I'm just not good at maths. All these things are things people have as limiting beliefs, and they stop them reaching their full potential. And the best way to deal with them is covered in various TED Talks. All I can say today is, if you recognize them, that goes a long way to dealing with them. But if you have a look, you will find other TED Talks on how to deal with self-limiting beliefs. But sometimes these beliefs come from other people's beliefs and fears. People who say to you, you just aren't good enough. You can't do that. It's too risky to set up your own business. What do you mean you want to do marketing? You're a physicist. All of these things come in. And there's various ways to handle this. One of it is to ignore them and just go and do it anyway and be very successful. I like that route. Or just hang out with different people. It's a way to do it. And then at the top, we have actual limits. There are things that limit people. For example, one of my friends, Kerry, she really, really wanted to be an air stewardess. That was her passion. That was her goal in life. She wanted to achieve that. Now, unfortunately, she was only 5 foot, and you need to be 5'2" to be an air stewardess. So this was a physical limit. Beyond putting herself on a rack, she was not going to be able to be an air stewardess. On my side, I like singing. Anybody who knows me knows I am a terrible singer. I am genuinely awful. Now, I could take lessons and get to a point where people don't find me offensive when I sing, but I'm never going to be a world-class singer. So all you can do with the actual limits is accept them. So I've just accepted the fact I am never going to be a great singer. I'm never going to be a model for Calvin Klein. These are beyond what I can do. But the thing is, you're pinned down by these lower things, self-limiting beliefs, other people's beliefs and fears. So here's what some famous people have said. I love this quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. If you think you can do something, that's going a long way to being able to do it. If you think you can't, you're never going to try. You're never going to even give it a go. And I like this quote from Richard Bach. If you argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're going to be yours. If you keep telling people, I'm just no good with computers, don't be surprised when you find out you're not very good with computers. Because you've put it there, you've said, I'm not good at this. So if you can get over those ideas, you can start getting good at these things and developing new things. How do you do that? Well, you do that through interest in learning. If you want to have more ability, if you want to have more wealth, if you want to have more fun in life, it is genuine interest in something and the willingness to learn it that will get you there. There are so many ways to learn things these days. You've got TED Talks, there's online courses, there's books, libraries. You can go out and learn whatever you want and get yourself as able as you can do. And you'll have more fun and more ability. So at the start, I said I was going to share 3 things with you can do to transform your life. The first one is experience and learn something new. And what I mean by that is go out and experience something you think you would hate. My mum years ago had tickets for the opera. On the day of the performance, she had a migraine. So she said to my dad, "You're going to have to go instead." My dad really, really didn't want to go. Said, "There's no way I'm going to like this." He went, he absolutely loved it. He was blown away. He thought that was brilliant. So go out and experience something you think, "I don't think I like jazz music. I don't think I like this." Go and listen to it, go and do it. And learn something new. If you're interested in photography, do a course in photography. Find something new to learn, because this will help you do the second thing. Discover new passions and realize new abilities. How do you know what you're passionate about and where your strong abilities lie unless you try new things? You don't know. You have to try new things. So get good at something and say, "Hey, I really like doing this." It might be something you prefer doing than what you do now. It's like me, I've tried various things. Go and try something new. If you're going to really realize new abilities, though, you have to do this third one. Hang around with the right people. Because people can either drag you down or pull you up. If you want to have a successful business, hang around with successful business people. If you want to be rich, hang around with rich people. If you want to be really good at something, hang around with people who are really good at it. Things brush off. You pick things up from them. So in summary, what I've covered today is, 1, I guarantee you have skills, abilities, and passions that you haven't realized yet. There'll be stuff you haven't tried that when you try it, you think, "I really like this. This is great." Number 2, I can guarantee that you are far more able than some people would like you to think you are. And number 3, the key to surviving in uncertain times is being interested in things and being willing to learn new things and having some fun while doing it, because that's really important. So my end message is, be all you can be and go and have some fun. Thank you very much.